Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Leisha, the Preacha-OK. Well, guys, I'm at the point where I accept who I am, what I am, what I do, what I say, whether people like it or not. I'm there. I will admit that I had a lot of expectations of myself, and those expectations were very, very high. My entire life, I was able to live my best life, no matter who loved me or hated me. I didn't let anything stop me from doing what I believed was best for me. And everything was flowing as I expected, on my good days, on my bad days. I've always enjoyed living a balanced life of knowing that there is good and evil in this world. I learned that as early as 4, 5 years old. And by the time I was 9, I began to read the entire Bible. By the time I was 18, I think I read the Bible in its entirety at least twice, possibly 3 times, but at least twice. And then in my adult life, 18 and up, I've always read the Bible and, other supportive material. But then I end up in a second marriage. And during that second marriage, I changed. I was challenged. I was, you know, I had to be proven, put to the test. You know, I thought I had been through a lot, endured a lot, and overcame and, you know, made it somewhere out there, you know. But then I realized that my past, my present, and my future are all connected. I cannot separate myself. Can I improve the conditions of those areas of my life? Yes, I can actually improve my past, improve my present, and improve my future. I can do that. But there are things that I cannot change. They are written in my contract of existence. They are part of my DNA, and I must obey, submit, period. So on this channel, I share a lot of information. I share a lot. And I find other stories out there, other testimonies, other people's journeys. And I bring them to my channel because I relate to them. They support what I'm saying. In that second marriage, I came across a pastor. And I realized this year, just this year, to the extent that I do, that pastor, although he passed away 9 years after I met him, he is still with me spiritually. You know, I had the honor of knowing him in the flesh, in the natural realm. I was blessed to know him, actually meet him, and have him pastor me and teach me and guide me and hold my soul in his hands. When I didn't have enough faith, when I didn't have enough belief, my belief wasn't strong. I mean, I had belief, you know, I had belief, I had faith, I actually had experience. But until I came across Pastor Newby, I realized that I was not saved yet. I wasn't saved yet. Like, I had work to do, work that I didn't know was there. And he helped me unfold and unpack and rearrange, spread out the work all on the table like a big old puzzle. I had no idea what I was gonna be looking at. You know what I mean? Gonna be looking at. And I liked it. I mean, I liked what he was doing with me in my soul, in my spirit. Although I had many challenges at home, I had many challenges in my marriage, I had many challenges in my life. But Pastor Newby opened up a whole new vision, a whole new way of looking at life. And then he died. He died. I remember everybody trying to keep him alive. They were spending all this money and sending him to this country and that country. You know, and then there came a point where I said, I said to myself, stop, just stop. There is no amount of money. There is no place to send him. when it's his appointed time. We all have an appointed time to leave here naturally. And we're not even leaving naturally, really, because we're dust to dust. We're just going back to the dust, to the earth. No real loss. No real loss. And then he had offspring. He had children, grandchildren, you know, but life just was not the same in New Mount Zion. But I remember the love he had for me. I remember the care. And it was so pure and it was real. He was not responsible for my marriage. He did not honor it. He did not conduct it. He stood firm on his belief. And I respect that. That's leadership. And even when we disobeyed him and got married anyway, he took us in as members together as a married couple. And he did not let me go. He saw me sink low. He saw me. And he is still here today in the spirit, y'all, in the spirit. But I was able to see him, hear him for 9 years at least. And when everything else about that marriage divorced me, left me, mocked me, humiliated me, Pastor Nubi is here. He is lifting me up. He is dusting me off. And he is telling me to go. You go. He don't care if I'm a hood. He just wish a motherfucker would. That's my pastor for this entire lifetime. He is no longer here in the flesh, but he is damn well here in the spirit realm. And he is running me in the spirit realm with Jesus Christ, who he believed in, at the top of Jacob's ladder, constantly refilling my well because we're family and we look out for each other in the natural and the spiritual forever. And can't no lying, cheating people, nation stop me now. Pastor Newby approves of my polyandrous lifestyle at this point. And with his leadership, I will go on preaching and teaching the word as Most High Jesus Christ, Pastor Newby, Bishop Williams, Pastor Lee, and all the other good pastors and men that I've come across. Are these men perfect? Hell to the no. To the no, no, no. But they are good ass men, and I respect them. And one of my favorite pastors in my lifetime, he may not be the pastor of my lifetime like Newby. Newby earned his stripes in my life. But Pastor Furlow, he married my first husband and I, and he labored with us. You know, it's because of that pastor and that first husband that I have offspring. I have two beautiful daughters that I am proud of. They hood like me, okay? It just is what it is. They wasn't supposed to be hood. I wasn't supposed to be hood. But Pastor Newby's church was in the hood. Pastor Newby's church was in the hood, you know? So he understood. And he understands me now. Mhm. And when he passed away, the church was not doing right by his wife at the time, who was also family to me. She was through marriage a cousin, but they wasn't doing right by her retirement. His first wife, who had passed, that's, where he had his children and the majority of his married life was with her. But then his second wife, that wasn't a long-term marriage. And then people didn't really, you know, agree with it and all this kind of stuff. So when he passed away, they tried to cheat her. And I was like, hell to the no. And my husband was the head trustee, so I was in his ear. Like, no, she needs this, she deserves that. And I was, paying attention to what other people was getting, salary wise and pension wise and benefit wise and all that. And I was like, hmm, what's she gonna get it to? You know. And it was a fight. It was a fight. And, my husband was uncomfortable because he worked for the church, trustee, but yet that was his cousin. And I was his wife. And I knew what I was sacrificing. You forced me to adopt some kids, and I had to give up my independence and ever having a pension of my own. I got to share yours. Well, I had an opportunity to fight for one of his family members at his church to be treated right. And I stood up, and they didn't give her everything we asked for, but, you know, she got something. I pushed. I pushed. Now, whether my ex agreed to that or not, or admit that or not, I don't give a fuck. But I know it's true. And so do Pastor Newby. And all you got to do is pull the minutes of the meetings. You know, he and I were the ones who had to find you know, the new pastor, set up the elections and the search. We had to actually do research. I had to go to the library and get books and all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't get credit for none of that, but that's okay. Pastor Newby gonna make sure he's on my spiritual team. He's leading. Pastor Newby is leading my spiritual team. And he gonna make sure I come out okay. Because he know what I did. And he know what I went through. If nobody else at that church wanna acknowledge me, I ain't heard from nobody from that church. I ain't heard from nobody from that entire family. That man treated me like a dog and ran off behind my back when we had an open marriage because he was the player. I ain't had no reason to play around on him. He played on me and played up in my face in front of the whole church, the whole family, and ain't none of y'all sorry motherfuckers called to check on me. Not one person. But y'all just judged me and mocked me and laughed at me and let him run off and marry a whole white woman behind my back in my face while y'all cheered him on and set up in that new wedding with him. But that's okay. Pastor Newbie do not like it. Pastor Newbie don't like it. And if one of y'all want to say he do, come on. He ready and I am too. He leading up my spiritual team and we ready. And he say, don't worry about whatever they stole. He said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about what they stole. Most High got a lot more in store for me. A lot more. Let them take what they think they got. Let them have it. They stole my love. They stole my trust. They stole my dignity. They think they stole all that. Pastor Newbie say, let them have it. Let them have it. They ain't stole nothing. Just let them have it. We gave it to them. Because that's all they going to have. There's a lot more for me. And that's not about being negative, y'all. It ain't about being negative. It's about doing right by people. And when you do wrong, you're on your own. So as long as I have Pastor Newby, now I am in the position to deal with whatever bishop, pastor, elder, whoever, as a solo woman in the Lord, holding people accountable, making sure they be responsible for treating families right. I don't care about having no sex with nobody. I don't care about none of that. Been there, done that. I got my own people for stuff like that. But as far as these churches out here, breaking down families, marrying just anybody, the pastors sleeping with all their members, the pastors' wives just arguing with folks. Everybody just broke down and ran through. Tired. Hopeless. Two men can get legally married. Don't nobody know what to do. But just blame each other. rob each other, steal from each other, lie to each other, deceive each other, laugh at each other. This is burning. This is the burning. Instead of drowning out, we're just burning up in all this misery. What's the solution? Treat others as well as you treat yourself. Love yourself first. Take some time to yourself. I have spent the last 2 years focusing on myself, my children, and my grandchildren. I could not afford to give anyone else anything else, just myself, my daughters, my grandchildren. I do have one other goddaughter and two other godchildren in Florida along the way. And I'm thankful for an extra daughter and extra grandchildren. I'm thankful. But that's all I've had the strength and energy for. I had to cut everyone else away. I can't afford to be used, abused, and abandoned anymore. My wound is too golden, too alive, too rich, too talented. My wound is myself, my children, my grandchildren. My wound is 3 generations strong, alive, and beating and strong. And it's golden and it's talented. It's gifted. It's rich, rich soil. And I ain't gonna let no man, woman, I don't care what their title is, destroy my womb. I ain't gonna let no law of the land, no baby daddies, nobody in my family, nobody in nobody else's family, no pastor at no church, no doctor at no hospital, definitely no nurse next door some damn where trying to steal our money and steal the minute right from under us, steal our protection away so she can have it. I don't trust no nurses, for sure. We in some times where you can't trust nobody. Nowadays, you can't even trust your own mama, your daddy, your grandmama, your granddaddy, your brothers and sisters and all that. It just seemed that way. It seemed that way. That's the type of storm we in. The culture, the climate, the weather. Can't trust nobody. Can't believe nobody. Everybody lying. Everybody stealing. Everybody dealing. Dirty dealing. Everybody hiding and sliding. Shooting and stabbing. Warring and arguing and partnering and all this stuff, guys. So I'm just going to close my womb, concentrate on me, my kids, my grandkids, while everybody's shooting and stabbing and lying and cheating and crossing fences and lines and everything's all blurred like a storm, hurricane. We all on our own little ark, Turtle Island. We natives know. We natives know. We all mixed up. We're all mixed up. But Most High knows how to separate the natives from the mixtures. He know how to keep the pureness. He do. People be mad and hurt, but Most High know what he's doing. And we have to trust him. It's not enough. There's not a lot of love out here. It's just not. So the most you can do is love yourself. The most you can do is love your kids. The most you can do is love your grandkids, great grandkids, whatever you got left. Your bloodline, if all you got is your blood, your umbilical cord, you hold on to that. Hold on to your umbilical cord, your bloodline. People gonna tell you, oh, they ain't worth nothing. Your blood do you just as bad as anybody else. Okay, well, fine. I'd rather my blood stab me than you. You just go back. Leave me alone. Let me and my blood duke it out. Me and my blood is just fine. We fight in love. We fight in love. That's our business. It ain't got nothing to do with you. You go fight your own peoples and love them. And mind your business. Stay on your side. Stay in your lane, in your own nation. Stay in your own driveway, your own whatever, your own property. Stay on your own land. Don't be reaching over here and getting my stuff. Because I'm sure as hell not reaching over there getting yours. That's for sure. I'd rather knock on your door, give you the option to open it or not. That's what I like. You want something in my house? Come to my door, knock on it, and ask me. A woman, man, a man. Don't be sneaky and dirty. That's hood ethics. Hood ethics. And that's what I am, a hood preacher. And that's how I want to move forward with the church. I don't care if it's two men that's married, that's what we're dealing with on this land right now. Two men can get legally married, and I don't have a problem with marrying them. Two women can get legally married. That's the law of the land right now. I don't have a problem with marrying them. Because what I learned in marriage is my husband, the second husband, he forced me onto Pastor Newby. Pastor Newby did not want me. He didn't. But my husband forced me on that man. And when he did that, it caused Pastor Newby and I to form a relationship from a place of disobedience to having to tolerate it. You know what I mean? And then he realized that I was really a wonderful person. You know what I mean? He did. He gave me a chance and he let me grow. And I shined. I shined at that church. I had fun. My kids had fun, you know. It was a great time. You know, my marriage made a lot of bad choices and stuff, but Pastor Newby helped me to get through it all. And when he passed away, I had to be the one that kind of like, we can't spend any more money on a dead man. I mean, I wasn't a trustee, you know, but I was married to the head of the trustees, you know what I'm saying? You know, guys. I let Pastor Newby go in the physical, but I never let him go in the spiritual. Never. I still haven't. But I had to endure the rest of all those years of marriage in the physical with my ex. And I did endure. I was drug very, very low, basically down to a hoe. But I was able to flip that whole status like a pancake, you know, and came up with this polyandry ministry. So, you know, when a husband marries a wife and she's good, a good wife, even though it may start off wrong in some people's eyes, you know, some people's eyes. But it can end up in some really bad places. You know, went from a good, decent type of wife to just being just, just mishandled, misled, misused. No other way to put it. After our pastor died, that was it. I basically ended up on the street in every way possible. And my kids, my daughters too. So it seems. So it seems. Okay, guys. And that's where, you know, flipping whole pancakes to the other side and getting polyandry, you know, because the Spirit of the Lord is still here. The breath of life is still here. Jacob's ladder is still there. The well is still there. The Samaritan woman met Jesus at the well. My very first video on this YouTube channel was me, about me, relating to the Samaritan woman. A hold out pancake on one side, being flipped over in the spirit realm. Now in the natural realm, as I go out, being sent out to meet different bishops and pastors and people all over this country to improve, be prepared for all these changes. that we must deal with. We must deal with all these changes, whether we like it or not. Just like Pastor Newby said, do not marry this woman. It's not right. Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Well, I won't marry her. Marry you to her. You know what I mean? That was his way of saying that I cannot afford to have this type of marriage in my church. I don't want this type of marriage in my church. But my husband, I was not a member. I was not a member of the church, so I was not forcing this marriage on the pastor. The moment that my husband married me, he should have changed churches. Why marry me and then force me on that pastor when the pastor didn't even believe in the marriage? Now, I was wrong for entering in because, again, I was not a part of the initial conversations they had about it. But at some point, my husband had to explain to me why your pastor is not marrying us. I knew why my pastor wouldn't marry us. I already knew. I had a Pentecostal apostolic pastor who looked at my husband, which was Baptist, as unsaved and he could not marry us according to our organization. So there was no way my husband could, marry me through my pastor and then be a member of our church if he did not, you know, I guess convert, change. So he was not willing to change. But as a woman who loved this man, who's known him since ninth grade, and I had already given a Pentecostal apostolic man a chance who just cheated on me, so to speak. In a way, he didn't. You know what I mean? In a way, he didn't. But in a way, he did. And I can talk about that in another video. And I have talked about it on this channel already. But I could talk about how he did and didn't at the same time, that first marriage. But again, I gave an apostolic brother a chance and it blew up in my face. So forget about what y'all talking about. Here's a Baptist man, whether y'all think he's unsaved or not, you know, here we go. So I knew we couldn't marry on my end, church end. And then his pastor, he held that from me as long as he could. He held that card as long as he could, okay? So we're like this Romeo and Juliet out here trying to get married. His pastor won't do it, my pastor won't do it. So he finds someone to do it that's not related to church at all. We got married in a chapel. Married in a chapel. But his pastor, let us have our wedding reception. The after the party. You call it the reception or the party, whatever you call it, guys. It's been so long since I've had to use wedding talk. And at the church though, so we were able to use, the basement for, the party. Great. So now that everything's played out with that, he married his homewrecker and everything. And everything's played out. I'm being advised in the spirit realm I have a good case, guys. I have a good case. I can push this. I could. But, but I'm being advised. And my heart feels light about it, though. My mind feels light about it. I feel good about this choice to let that go. Let them have what they think they have. Whatever they had to sneak and do, let them have it. He and I went out of our way to have what we have, and it blew up in our face. She is a part of the blow up, you know what I mean, in our face. So I have to accept that and put my energy somewhere else. Not because I'm not worthy or, I'm not justified or it wouldn't lead to anything. And in fact, other people may, again, pick up this ball and roll with it. I don't really expect to accomplish much in my life by bringing up this stuff, okay? Sharing my story. I personally don't expect to accomplish much. But the fact that I share it at all can benefit many people and myself because it reminds me of how far I've come. And it gives me the fuel and the energy to keep going, keep pressing, keep my womb alive, keep protecting my children, keep protecting my grandchildren. We survived all those attacks from being in a bad marriage, a marriage that I pursued, even though all the red flags were there. They were all there. And that's why I had to suffer. That's why I got my butt beat down spiritually and naturally. As far as like being stolen from and, in ways that I don't even have the energy to recover. All I can do is just speak on it and let somebody else do it. you know? But in the meantime, I have so much else to work on. I know my appointed time. I don't know my appointed time, so please don't accuse me of saying that. She says she know when she's gonna die. No, I do not know when I'm gonna die, guys, okay? I've had 5 attempts, so I do not know when I'm gonna die. 5 attempts is proof that I am clueless as to when I'm gonna die. But what I'm saying is, I know I have an appointed time. I know I have an appointed time. And my appointed time is closer, probably than yours, because I had all those attempts. All those attempts just simply meant that I'm not going when the hell I think I'm going. It's going to be when Most High appoint me to. Period. That's all that meant. Girl, who the hell you think you are? Do your job. Stop complaining. If the only job on this earth is for you to be a hood preacher that look like a hoe, then who the hell are you to complain? So here I am, guys. It's not the job that I applied for. Okay. In fact, I was trying to delete the post. I was trying to rip up the paper applications. I was trying to get rid of this. I did not go to college to get a PhD. I did not marry, the men that I married based on, their qualifications and things, just to end up looking like this. And yes, it is my ego speaking. Yes, my ego is on display here. I'm not denying that. I look a hot mess. Sometimes I get on here and don't care how I look because I really didn't want this job. I'm just saying, you know, no one wants me to have this job either. I want to listen to this, you know, but obviously somebody do. I mean, I have almost 2,000 subscribers some kind of way. Some kind of way I have like almost 2,000 subscribers. So, I'm gonna stop complaining. I'm going to appreciate my job better. I'm gonna look better, guys. Right now, I'm just gonna be blackened out until I get my attitude better. Until I, accept who I am. You know, I'm one thing to me, and I'm something else to you. Whoever you are, I'm something else to you. And then there may be some of you out there who only know me by what I'm presenting here. And that's interesting. That's interesting. I kind of like that idea that whatever I'm presenting out here, some of you are taking it, taking me for what you see here and what you hear because you don't know me otherwise. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of like an advantage that I have with some of you. Hmm. That's kind of like what Pastor Newby experienced, you know? Like, he didn't really get to see our dating or, it was so hidden. Just like this woman was hidden, I was kind of hidden too. No one got to really experience me until after the commitment. After we were married, then I was brought fully out, you know? Interesting, interesting, interesting. And I've made videos on this, on the process of, unions coming together. But at the end of the day, some people are honest and they know with their honesty it is going to bring pain and they're willing to deal with the pain. There are people who are deceitful, dishonest, hide, and they know that this will come with the pain. And for whatever reason, they're willing to deal with it. Whatever people choose, hey, it is what it is. I choose the honest route. If I'm going to be somebody's online pastor, online spiritual guide, online whatever, I want to be honest about how I live my life. I have a spiritual team. I am advised by people that I cannot see. Some of these people, spirits, energies, whatever word you want to use, I've never met in my life, meaning this lifetime. I'm 55 years old, born in Detroit, Michigan, by some people. Okay, I'm referring to that. In that lifetime, this lifetime, some of these people in the spiritual realm, on my spiritual team, I have never met. Others, I have. And one of my leaders, other than, Most High, of course, and his son, Jesus Christ, his offspring, um, I do have a team lead, and it is Pastor Newby. And he is no different than any other person in my life, basically from birth. You know what I mean? He didn't really want me either. But I grew on him and he loved and cared about me. I was, conceived by teenage parents. So what teenagers want their baby? You know what I mean? So, I was conceived by parents that didn't really want me, grandparents that didn't want me because I was here too soon, you know. My first husband, I don't know. I really don't understand him, to be honest. To be honest, I really don't understand him. He always had easy access to white girls. He had easy access to white girls. Had been with, you know, hundreds of white girls before me, hundreds, thousands, whatever, before me. Had not really experienced black girls like that, you know. But he always told me that his desire was to have a black babe that was saved, a black babe that was saved. And I was like, well, hey, I could be that, you know. So, you know, that sounds like me, right? you know. But at that point in our marriage or relationship or whatever, I was truly a black babe. The saved part, hmm, that's the part that was kind of questionable. Whatever we were basing salvation on, I checked those boxes. I did check those boxes. Whatever he and I were basing it on, I checked those boxes. I was a believer. I had faith. When I met him, I had not had fresh tongues. I had recalled speaking in other tongues the way that the Pentecostal apostolics believe. You know what I'm saying? I had recalled doing that like when I was a child, like 9, 10, really young. But to me, that didn't really mean anything to me. Here I am in college, I'm 20 years old, and here's someone that wants to marry me. And the only thing that's holding us up is I never spoke in tongues, fresh. And to me, that meant that I wasn't saved. You know, kind of ridiculous. Okay, guys, but that's where I was at that time. Okay. So, we get married based on, that I did speak in tongues and so did he. We had fresh tongues. We were speaking in tongues, running around the church. Okay. I had been baptized before. He had been baptized before. We can get married now. We got married. Well, we ended up divorced. And then during my second marriage, while everyone from my first marriage, from that life, felt like the second husband was an unsafe man, I'm entering this marriage just as unsaved as they are accusing him of. I didn't realize that until after I was married. No matter how many times I was baptized, no matter how many tongues I had spoke, no matter no matter how many dances, holy shouting dances I did, until my stockings fell off. No matter how many times I prayed in that first marriage, divorcing him based on something that he had always done. You know what I'm saying? You know, just looking back, reflecting, whether right or wrong. Even now, I could be looking at this completely right or wrong. I'm just saying, guys, at the end of the day, my salvation really didn't hit where I can claim to have been proven, claim to have. It didn't happen until the second marriage. Even on our worst day is him walking out on me to marry someone I didn't even know he was messing with. Someone that was close enough to, you know, someone that was just in my face that I couldn't even see. The marriage was, both marriages were doomed from the beginning. But that second marriage, even on his worst day, that's where my salvation occurred. Once Pastor Newby died, I was either going to live or die, swim or sink. There was no life jacket. There was no, and I, there was no life jacket. And even though I'm a water baby, even though I'm always in the hot tub and always in the water and always doing this and always doing that, I do not know how to swim. I've had lessons and still can't swim. My children had lessons and learned how to swim. So I float. I can doggy paddle. I can play in some water. I'm not likely to drown per se, you know? So you guys don't have to be like worried. You know what I mean? I didn't say all that to, you know, but I'm just saying, I don't know how to swim, guys. And even though I read the Bible my whole life and, was married, legally married twice, and spoke in tongues and was baptized and, did all the stuff that you need to do, at the end of the day, you're not saved until Most High say you are, really. I mean, until He claim you. Until Most High claim you, you just kind of auditioning, or you're l- living by faith, by your belief, until until they get you. You know what I mean? Until you're hooked. Yeah, until you're hooked. Until you're hooked. Yeah, I'm hooked. And it may appear to some that, you're just a hoe for real. Well, I'm not gonna argue for real. I'm not gonna argue. Because if I was like, like a few years back, I would look at this unrecognizable puzzle that Pastor Newby dumped on this spiritual table of mine many years ago, and I was just like putting my hands in the pieces and shuffling them around, moving them around. You know what I mean? Hmm. Had I known it was gonna look like this, shoot, I would be saying what y'all saying. Some of y'all, some of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So that's why when I read certain comments and stuff, I can only be so mad. Now, some people's comments, negative comments, I will not tolerate. If you contributed to me being here, how you gonna comment for real? You contributed to me being here. You can't say nothing. But someone that's a stranger that's looking from the outside, and I'm voluntarily putting my business out here, you know what? I'm gonna have some grace, you know. But people that are just being flat out vicious, I'm not gonna tolerate that. But I will have some grace because I know how I would be looking at me. Just what, 15 years ago, I would be stepping back, looking at me like, "What, girl? You need some help? Let me help." But I would roll up my sleeves and help them. I wouldn't just, you know, judge me and walk away laughing. I'm like, "Girl, get out of here. What your husband say? What he do? What? Let me tell you what you do. The next time he say that, you say this. Oh, he act like he don't want to pay that bill. He don't look like the kind of man that want the word in the street that his lights is turned off. You leave that bill right on the table and you just do what you do. I bet you it's gonna get paid." He trying to play. Girl, you got the big joker in your hand. Okay. Let him throw a little ace of spade out there if he want to. When you holding the little joker and the big joker, that bill got paid, okay? He ain't out there hustling like that to have his lights off because he expecting his woman to pay it. Uh, any man is willing to let his lights get turned off because he expect his wife to pay the bill. I want to see. I take care of her myself. I get out there and work and take care of her while she work part-time and take care of your son and go to school part-time. If you trifle enough to let that bill get turned off, Negro. So that's why I dared her to let her to test her husband. I want to see what kind of Negro he is. That bill got paid. So guess what? We all stayed friends. Yay. He paid the bill. And she was able to finish school and go on with her life. Not go on with her life, but you know what I'm saying? Stay in her marriage as long as she needed to and boo. Look, they lived to see another married day. But let that bill have got turned off. While she was doing all what she was doing for the family. Hmm. I'm not saying I would have told her to get divorced. I'm not saying that. I don't believe in letting no man off the hook that easy. Some men will set a woman up with tests like that to see if she'll leave him, just so he can get away with just paying a little child support here and there, and so he can go off and be the Casanova he want to be. I know how to pull a man's card. Because he already messing around. He already messing around. Why you got to make it easier for him? So I just look at life a little different. Well, anyway, guys, I'm different. I'm different. I know. I know. Mm, 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 mm. And I'm comfortable letting y'all know what's up. I ain't got nothing to hide. Nothing. If it was up to me, I wouldn't even be here. But I'm here. I'm tapped in. I'm doing the job. And I'm going to start looking better and acting better, whatever that is. Whatever that is, y'all, I'm going to do it. But, I've lived a whole life of, people not really wanting me, you know? And then once they're stuck with me, then, I grow on them and they be like, okay, well, maybe we should open up a library, or maybe we should, do this or do that, or, maybe we should. And I used to be really, really patient with people. But as I'm getting older, I just don't have the patience because I have an appointed time. And I know I'm getting closer and closer. So I can't waste, 25 years with people no more. You know, the most you got these days is what, 1 or 2 good years. I'm 55. So if anybody gonna love me and live their best life with me, love and bond me and whatever you're gonna do, hurry up. I'm 55, okay? I'm not gonna be here too much longer. Yay. I am not one of those people that's, scared to die or anything. I'm not scared to live or die. I want to do both to the best of my ability. I want to live it up. And when life is just way too depressing and unhappy, why be here? It's just, ugh. You know what I mean? That's just, my girly girl side talking, emotional side talking. But my logical side is, well, I have 3 generations that I'm over, including myself, and we all deserve the best. And I am going to make sure that we are safe. I don't care what war, I don't care what people is coming against us. We gonna be good. I know who our spiritual team is. I know who, you know what I mean? I got military knowledge and background, not personally, but through marriage and family and whatever. So that side of me is like, don't play. Let's go. What is the problem? Why are we slow? Then the other part of me is like, because people are so slow and trying to slide out the back door, it just make me want to just like, go. You know what I mean? One way or the other, I'm going to go. Go because we working and doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're on fire for the Lord. Or go because, you know what, you guys are just not. Lukewarm is just like, ugh. All right. I'm done, guys. I'm done. I know I start off being like, praise the Lord, everybody. And by the time I'm done, I'll be like, all right, guys, I'm done. Bye. Be blessed. Again, I have room for improvement. My presentation. I know how to give a good show, guys. I know how. I just need to, accept my role, accept what I'm doing, and I actually love it. I'm actually growing on myself. How about that? I'm growing on myself. I rejected myself at first, myself in this role. I rejected it at first, like everyone else has rejected me in my life. I was just doing what everyone else does, right? But now I've grown on myself. I happen to be from the hood, rejected my whole life by most people. I came too early. I came too early in life. I was a premature, not a premature birth, but I was a premature conception. Ooh, premature conceptions. Whoa. So I was a premature conception. Nobody wanted me. So because of that, I had to come here with a bang. I had to come here in the right month, come here shining and glowing and leading and roaring and, you know, and so I treated my own self the way that everyone has always treated me. And so now I've grown on myself. I accept myself now. And now I see a lot of potential in me. And I want to go for it. I want to open up universities and libraries and, schools and churches and banks and towns. And, I want to be like the people that I love and have admired my whole life, even though I haven't been good enough for them because I was preconceived. You know, I want to be independent and have, 401ks and money in a bank and, you know, afford to be able to. I'm not really interested in international travels that much anymore, but, I don't mind like the domestic travels. And then, if a cruise is willing to take me somewhere, slap me somewhere, that's kind of international, cool. I'll do it. Like I just went on my Caribbean cruise, you know. So, but the Virgin Islands is us, guys. The Virgin Islands. And I put my feet in the water, guys. Ay, ay. And I'm manifesting love, you know. I'm not manifesting relationships. I am not manifesting relationships right now. I cannot afford relationships. I can't even afford myself right now. I'm still eating free food. I'm still living off of alimony. I'm a charity case. I'm a charity case, guys. I did not accept that at first, I did not accept that coming into that second marriage that I was a charity case. I refused to accept that. I was so mad that I was even viewed that way. But it was the truth. It was the truth. Just because I was having a tantrum and couldn't accept it don't mean it was less true. But I wasn't limited to that though. That's the thing. I was not limited to it. No, I wasn't. Still not, you know. I know there is a part of my life, a part of me, due to preconception, being preconceived or something of that nature. Um, that is not good enough. Not good enough to be here. Not good enough for the people here. Not good enough for, you know, upper society folk. You know, I know that. But there's this other part of me that is just that is just fine. I am just fine and am able to manifest whatever I want above and beyond even the people that judge me. And I'm not saying that they don't have right to judge me. According to society, high society or whatever society, wherever they come from, whatever angle, they have every right. But I'm just not limited to it. I climb up and down Jacob's ladder all the time. My well never runs dry. And anyone can, you know, drink from me if I allow them to, if they ask the right way, if they don't steal from me. I'm like a faucet. When you turn the knobs the right way, you're going to get a flow. When you turn the knobs, it could be the right way too. It could be right or wrong. I don't know. Depending on how you look at it. You can stop the flow. I remember this song when I was a kid. It was called You Can Ring My Bell. You can ring my bell, bell, ring my bell, ring, ring, ring. You can ring my bell, you can ring my bell, ding dong, ring it. You can ring my bell, ring my baby's bell, ring it, ring it, ring it. You can ring my bell, you can ring my bell, ding dong, ring it. Ring my bell, ring my baby's bell, ring it, ring it, ring it. Mhm. Okay, guys, I need to get off of here. I'm getting way out of there. Love you guys. Bye.